Good morning, old school Texas Tech. We've got the final game of the regular season now, we can say, because we're going to a bowl game of some kind. We've got the game in Austin tonight. Sorry for the late recording, but I've been sick and Jordan's been doing some traveling. I've got Jordan with me. How are you doing?
All good here, my friend. Ate enough food for 12 people yesterday for Thanksgiving, but hey, all is good.
I did probably the best that I can remember in my life of not completely overdoing it yesterday. I think it's because I've been a little bit sick. So I kept it under control. It was still crazy, but I kept it under control. So
Glad one of us did.
maybe maybe I'm getting what's that?
So I'm glad one of us did.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little wiser in my old age. I don't know. All right, so let's do our normal format, and then we got a follow-up question. Worst case scenario tonight in Austin.
Worst case is to me a 49-14 loss.
Okay.
Texas.
Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think would have to happen for? Do you think? What do you think would be the recipe for a 49 to? What did you say? 49 to 14.
Yeah, I think it's just a complete beat down. I don't think that there's gonna be any chance. I mean, everything is gonna have to multiple turnovers, just nothing goes correct for us. That's what I think. Like they're pretty good on the lines of scrimmage. I think it just if we gave it all to win the last three games and just completely petered out, that's what it would take to let. That's again my worst case scenario. So I don't think
Okay.
it's actually going to happen, but I think that would be the
Right.
absolute worst possible scenario. They're just humming on all cylinders, excited final home game, and we drained everything in the tank to go from 3-5 to 6-5 and just completely basically, got beat up.
Okay. Yeah, I have a worst case scenario. It's not too far from yours, 44 to 17. My worst case scenario though would include Baron Morton not being able to play. Um, I think that's the only way it gets out of control that bad. Or if he's just like so beat. I mean, I'm sure that it's a fine line for the tech coaches to figure out, like, if we keep playing him, is it going to make the injury worse? At what point is the true freshman better than him? I mean, those are tough decisions for that staff to make. But yeah, I would say 44-17. I understand they've got a defensive lineman. I did not do my homework on his name, but I understand he's pretty. A lot of schools are calling him unblockable. I think Tech's run blocking. I think we might be able to get a little. We might be able to do something with them because I think our run blocking's been solid all year. But I'm concerned about, I don't know that they can do any sort of like 5-step drops with Morton for long passes or anything like that.
Yeah.
As our pass blocking, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard. All right, so best case scenario.
Hey, best case scenario in every single week will always be a Texas Tech victory. And I say if we do that, it's going to be 31-30 Texas Tech winning, where we just play out of our minds and UT kind of lets up a little bit. Maybe they're overlooking us for whatever reason, Thanksgiving week. But best case scenario is a Texas Tech victory by 1 point.
I'm actually going to agree with your exact score. I think it's very, very unlikely. I do not think we're going to win tonight. Well, I think what it would require would be a large turnover margin. I think that it'll have to also be one of those games where Texas kind of overlooks us. But I don't know if they're going to because of the whole Yormark thing and that we beat them last year. It hasn't been that long ago that we've gotten a couple of wins in Austin. Of course, they got a lot on the line this game, so I think it's very, very unlikely. And I also think it would require they cannot make us one dimension. We cannot beat them just by throwing the ball. So like if they shut Tosh completely down and we can't throw the ball, they cannot make us one. If they make us one dimensional, we're not going to win. There's no way we're going to win the game.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
All right. Actual score.
I'm going to say UT wins 31-17. And we'll probably tack on one later, a little bit later on when it's already in doubt. But I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. We'll make it look respectable. But I'm with you. That defensive lineman I think you're thinking of, I think his last name is Sweat. And he's
Yeah,
big.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
I've not seen a guy that size move like that. I think he's going to be a problem trying to establish the run. I really do. But I think we're going to score. It's going to be 31-17.
Okay, I got 38-21. I don't know. That one's tough. I do think that we have an incredibly well coached defense. But there's a chance I don't know what Rabbit's injury status is. If he doesn't play, that's going to make a big difference. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much on the same page. I think we have an uphill battle tonight. I'm going to be interested to see how hard we play. I'm going to be. I really haven't watched Texas this year too much at all. So I know they're really good. So I'll be interested to watch the game. I'm not really emotional about it being the last Big 12 game. I've never considered. I mean, I get it that we've played for a long time, but it's such a lopsided rivalry. I don't know. I just don't. I'm not that emotional about. I have a cousin that went to school there that I like talking to about Tech and Texas football with. I'll miss that a little bit because it'll be a little different being in different conferences. But I'm not that emotional about this being the last Big 12 game between the two schools.
Same. Haven't really thought that much about it. And I will tell you this: I have watched Texas a little bit this year. Their one loss, as you know, was to OU, but they have a tendency to score early and then hang on for dear life. They barely beat TCU in Fort Worth. They had to hold on versus Houston. I think they have a tendency. They had to take. They were up big on K State and had to hang on that one and went into overtime and held on. So, if they jump out 28-0 on us, it's not over yet.
Yeah, and even I was listening to as you know, one of the coaches in the Big 12, other than obviously ours, that I actually really pay attention to what he has to say because I think he's a straight shooter. Is Gundy, and Gundy was saying he said we don't play Tech this year, so I haven't watched him that much, but he said out of the top of my head, he's like they're probably one of the few offenses that could come back from a pretty big deficit. And we have come back from some. We came back from a 2 touchdown deficit. Did we come back from any larger deficits than that? Maybe we blew some big leads this year too, though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, if they got up 21-0 on us, that wouldn't scare me to death or anything. I mean, I won't be scared to death at all because we're already going to a bowl and my expectations for tonight are not really that high. That may offend some people, but I try to be. I'm a realist. I hope we win. If we do somehow win this game tonight, it's a game changer for the. It's a huge game for the program. Huge win for
Big
the
time.
program
Big
and
time.
for the conference too. And then everybody but OU in the conference is going for us. I think
Yeah,
even
I think
teams
so
that
too.
normally hate us. So all right, all right. So I think we're more or less on the same page, pretty close on most of our predictions. What do you? The much maligned offensive coordinator all season, at least in my mind, I think he's been responsible for, I would say, conservatively 2 to 3 of our losses. What do you think? Obviously, we still got a game to play and a bowl game to play. I'm sure he'll be coaching in the bowl game. What do you think we should do with Zach Kitley? Should he be retained? Should he be terminated? Should his job title and responsibilities change? Keep in mind his dad's, I believe, a Hall of Fame track coach at the school. Um, what do we do with Zach Kitley?
Well, that's a great question. And if it was me making the sole decision, I I would say I'm leaning more and more towards not retaining him. But I think what I would would do as an athletic director, or at not, I mean, I guess the decision falls on Joey McGuire, not the athletic director. But if
Yeah,
I'm Joey
yeah.
McGuire, I would sit down and really analyze the 2 years he's been here and see what the data really, really tells me. But he had a decent year last year. This year, not so much. So part of me, I get just a little sliver of me says give him one more year, but another bigger part of me says don't retain him. Get somebody, find somebody else that's better and move on.
Yeah, so I was actually in your camp, and I'm still concerned about. I still think he's I'm still concerned about him. However, beating Central Florida, putting up 24 against them, and that comeback, the comeback against Kansas, and even though that was not a good offensive performance at all, only 16 points. I think I'm leaning, and believe me, Jordan and I both know we're not athletic directors, or we'd be doing that for a living. But this is just from a fan perspective, so don't mistake us for being that arrogant. This is just for fun. Um, I'm leaning towards retention now because to me it would be pretty cool for Baron Morton to have the same offensive coordinator for 3 years in a row. And we also have, as long as, who knows with these recruits, but if Micah Hudson's really coming, and who knows what's going to happen with the transfer portal. I was hearing some things yesterday that some of the older receivers may transfer because they think Micah Hudson's going to get, he's obviously going to come right in and play. I think that would be a mistake for some of them, particularly Bradley. I really like to see Bradley stick around because with Micah Hudson on the field, it's not gonna do anything but make those guys better. You know, that's what happened with when we had Crabtree. It just made all the other receivers better. So I don't know if Micah Hudson's in the we'd have no idea if he's going to be anywhere in that league. But I lean right now towards retention, but let's see what happens tonight and in the bowl game.
Sounds good to me, dude.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your everyone, Jordan and everyone else. Enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend, and let's hope that Texas Tech goes Dallas Cowboys tonight on on the Longhorns out of nowhere. That would be fun.
I would love to see it, my man. Would love to see it.
All right, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great night and great weekend. Take care. See you
See you, bud.
soon.
Bye.